Weak?
Well, the Thor and the Marine both hard counter the Mutalisk. And the whole reason they gave the Thor the blast damage was to counter the Mutalisk. Maybe like give the Mutalisk +3 to light. What do you think, guys? Think about that.
Well, I think we feel, I mean, you guys can back me up or say whatever you want about this. I think we feel like the Mutalisk speed is his greatest asset. His ability to be pretty much wherever he wants to be and hunt whatever he wants to hunt makes him a very dangerous weapon. And we're also very nervous about any weapon that can attack air and ground. It's a very flexible weapon in any unit's arsenal. Something that moves faster than almost anything in the game and can attack air and ground is something we're definitely going to be very careful of giving too many buffs to. I think we feel pretty good about the Muta right now. You guys want to say anything on the Muta?
Yeah, because the Muta speed is so fast, and the other two units you mentioned, the Marine and the Marauder, are both very attack move friendly units. So there will be a difference at the start, I think, in using these units. But as players learn to make use of the speed advantage of the Mutalisk, we feel the balance might actually be better.
Okay.
Hi. I'd like to find out if you can tell us, when will fully customizable key bindings be added to the game, and why didn't it have them in the first place? Because I've tried the different hotkey layouts, all of them, and I think I could do better if I could set the keys up my way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think we've had that feedback from a lot of players. The reason it didn't make it for the game was, I mean, well, we were 6+ years in development. We didn't want to hold it any longer. And we didn't feel like customizable key bindings was a reason to delay the game. So we held that back, and we've been working on it. I've actually seen the design in progress. It is being worked on right now. There is UI currently in our internal builds where we're testing it. As you can imagine, the UI for custom key bindings is not simple. Actually, I would say it's insane. It's absolutely nuts. And our biggest fear is this giant landmine that new players will step into. They'll accidentally bind a key, and then they'll have no idea how to do anything anymore. So I've been working really hard on the design of it and on the engineering. I don't have a date for you exactly, but I can tell you it is under construction. It's actually pretty far along. I think we should have something out to you guys pretty soon.
Okay, thanks.
It's just funny that you asked that because I just released a hotkey trainer like 1 week ago. So check out for that on North America if you want to train on that. But anyway, okay, my question is slightly off topic. It's about custom maps. I know you were talking a little bit at Blizzcon 2009 about the custom map marketplace that might eventually come out and maybe premium maps and stuff like that. And I put a team together with the hopes of making the absolute best maps out there eventually when that marketplace opens up and releasing really awesome stuff.
Awesome.
And I'm just wondering if you have any more details about that, when it might be coming out. I don't want to hold you to anything that you say, just any hunches that you have.
Yeah, no, I can tell you it's not coming out in the immediate future. It's probably closer to either a patch in Heart of the Swarm or Heart of the Swarm to be the soonest we'll be able to get that out to you. There's a lot of challenges we have to get that going, but I love that you're putting a team together. We know that the fires are burning. We know that people want it. We'll try to get to you as absolutely as soon as we can. It's one of our top priorities going forward.
Awesome, thank you very much. And also, the 10 megabyte map limit, is there a chance for that to change in the future as well?
There are many arguments. There's throwing of chairs. It's been really rough in the office over this issue. We are consuming a lot of our storage very quickly, but we'll see. It's definitely something we're always talking about. I think I have like a weekly conversation about that at this point. It's definitely a topic for us, so we'll take a look at it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, by the way, love your guys' game. Been playing since I was a kid for the original Starcraft. But what I'm kind of asking about is like the early gimmicks of the games, specifically like the proxy rush for the Protoss, as well as like the early Thor rush with like the single Thor with the repairing. How do you guys usually account for that with catching those? And it felt like it took a while for those to get fixed. I mean, do you see those come out? You try to get those fixed as possible, or does it take a while for you guys to kind of understand what's going on?
Those are some of the easiest strategies for us to fix. So when we're playtesting internally, we're more focusing on the more complicated scenarios where you have multiple bases running, what the 200 versus 200 pop armies are doing against each other, and making sure that all races can stop rushes and stuff like that. But internally, we don't try as many proxy rushes or six-pool rushes and stuff like that because they are very easy for us to fix once we see there is a problem.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I agree with that 95% of the time. I think there's the occasional one. We've had some that were really touch and go because a lot of the units you use in the early game to rush are also used to block other rushes, right? And so it can get really challenging. But for the most part, I think we've been able to crank those out pretty quick. I think there was a Terran SCV rush that was actually probably our scariest one with Marines behind the SCVs. The SCV's a wall, and that led, I think it was in the late beta, led to actually a nerf on the SCV health. But at the same time, the SCV was essential to stopping some other rushes that could happen against them. Definitely, one of the challenges we have is we want those rushes to be somewhat viable. We want them to be available. We feel like that makes the game scary from the first minute you click on anything in the game into the last. A lot of games are trying to get rid of those early rushes, and they say, rushing is bad. We don't want it, right? I don't know, that's my other developer voice, I guess. But we don't like that. We want the rushing to be possible. So it's always a tough call, and we're definitely welcoming your guys' feedback, whether a particular rush is still too easy to do and still too hard to block. In many cases, it's the key of detecting it and using your workers to fight back. But it's definitely always sort of a touchy one because a lot of new players get rolled by these, and they're pretty unhappy when that happens.
And because they're such a core part of the game, we try our best to teach players how to block these rushes, and our multiplayer challenges is actually a good tool for you to use to learn to counter these rushes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Hi, I think you guys did an awesome job balancing the game, so thank you so much for all the races. My question is very simple. I always go into a bit of a nerd rage when I get mass Hydra rushed. I play Protoss, so I'm wondering if you guys can just real quick give me some strategies. And don't say Templar because, I don't know, I have better luck against Terran, but when it comes to Zerg, I just get destroyed when I get mass Hydra.
Well, the main downside of mass Hydras, especially on the offensive, is that they're really slow. So they can't kite anything off of creep. So did you say you're playing Protoss?
Yeah, Protoss,
yeah, so even just using mass zealots with stalkers shooting over-the-shoulder shooting, or even combined with sentries with Guardian Shield that cuts down the Hydra DPS by quite a bit, should be good enough for you. But eventually you're going to have to get out the splash options. If the scale becomes really big, say if he brings in 50 Hydras, obviously a clumped pack of 50 Hydras is a little too much for only tier 1 units to handle. So if you don't like using Psy Storm, then maybe you can probably try using Colossi.
Yeah, Colossi aren't too bad. They work pretty well on attack move. It can be effective, especially